What rubbish! What balderdash!
You must have read something terribly disturbing, Watson, for you to be so overwrought this early in the morning.
Indeed, Holmes. It's irresponsible of the Times to play upon people's superstitions.
Ah, you must be referring to the affair of the mummy's curse.
The entire city in an uproar. 3 men dead, and they expect us to believe that a 4,000-year-old mummy was the murderer. I'm surprised you haven't taken some interest in this case, Holmes.
To the contrary, my dear Watson. I have made some inquiries. Because I dare say I do believe this murderer is a much younger chap.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, let's do this one. 19 Edward. The body of James Greenback was discovered later yesterday in a room. He was prepared for the British Museum exhibit for the newly discovered artifact from the tomb of Kate Betts' mummy. The archaeologist was found strangled around his neck were line bandages of the type used by the ancient Egyptians in wrapping mummies. Ooh. Or is that could be just kinky? I don't know. The third murder. Wow. Wait, he was actually in the tomb? She tombed himself in early March. Wow. Wow. This mummy is taking kills. Dr. Watson learns that the times that the mummy especially responded to three men's deaths. Responsible for three men's deaths. He does not reveal the names, but are certainly listed in the articles. Right, that.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, but it seems you will have to turn up a clue or two more before I'll judge this case.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, well, if it isn't Mr. Sherlock Holmes, London's most overly praised amateur sleuth, needing the help of the Yard again.
Are you going to stand for that, Holmes?
Let's just see who proceeds to solve this case, Watson. Inspector Lestrade, my good man, I'm looking into the cause of James Windibagg's death.
I should have known. That murder has brought out every crank in the city. I think the professional police can wrap this one up.
All the same, could you tell us what you've discovered to date?
One dead archaeologist, no suspect, no motive.
And what of Andrew Weatherby's death? Have you looked into that?
I have talked to Captain Ramsey, but we have no leads. Look, I'm not even sure that Weatherby's murder falls into our jurisdiction. And if it doesn't, you're not going to find me worrying about it. As it is, I have enough murders to take care of.
First time playing this kind of game, so let's see. Selenius, also returners. Okay, I might check the nurses out. To refresh my memory of your readers. discoveries was the fact of the bizarre death, the police record are indeed and report a little more than Isdoria persona was found shark staring mad from matchbox in front of him. Okay. It's Wait, Mr. James. Okay, he's missing. I found a feeder, an usher at the Elephant and Castle discovery. A body of a man appeared murdered during last night's performance. The body was found after the entertainer in the box. According to the usher, the man had occurred alone. Police had not been able to identify the man, who this guy was in his mid-30s. Was he 5, 7, 2, right here? There's a lot of deaths in this one. A man's missing. A man was murdered. Lightning. Don't know. Train. Oh, there's not the cow either. Okay. Huh. We know Mr. Turnback has been strangled to death. Ancient line of bandages around his neck. So think Kinky went wrong. Upon hearing of the professor's death, some of the natives working on the exhibit called one issue. Yep. Section. Oh, that's. Oh, never mind. Forgiven. Okay. versus an elephant. Elephant Castle. Okay, let's do. Limer's a Hyde Park. Sir. For 9 o'clock this morning. There were no wounds on the body, and it is suspicious that an overdose of some drug had been. Let's see. Oh, a drowning. I want to say for men who were lifting sand near Glenlifer. I don't know. Returns. Huh. Murder in Bloomsburg. points. Yes. What? 2 points. Let's do. Yes. Yeah. Where is it?
This seemed to be a dead end. No one had any information that could help us solve this case.
Let's try the
Pity. It appears that no one is in.
However, can you tell, Holmes?
There is a sign on the door that says, "We are gone for the day."
How terribly observant, Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Right to the door, back door, big blocks road.
Pettigrew wrote this book over 50 years ago, and there's still nothing better on the subject. Fascinating. Just fascinating. And what can I do for you today, Whitson?
It's Watson, sir.
Watson, yes, of course.
We're interested in what you may have learned about this mummy case.
Oh, so these days it's mummies you're chasing down with that fella Helms.
It's Holmes, sir.
This is what I said now, isn't it, Whitson?
Yes, I believe you did, sir.
Let me show you what I found so far. This is the bit of linen that was found round the neck of James Windibank. I examined it thoroughly, and it is quite old, perhaps thousands of years. However, it is not the murder weapon.
What?
Are you certain of that?
Aye, the linen is quite old, but it's not at all strong enough to strangle a grown man.
Very interesting, sir.
I also found something quite fascinating. Take a look through this glass. Do you see those short hairs on the fabric?
They look precisely like hairs.
Of course they look like hairs. But what kind of hairs? They're not human hairs. They're dog hairs. Now, look at this. This piece of linen was found round the neck of the victim on board the ship. Well, his name was Leatherby or something. It is also quite old, and on it I found more hairs.
More dog hairs?
No, my dear man, monkey hairs. I've not yet been able to identify the precise species, but it's just extraordinary, isn't it?
Quite. But what do you think it all means?
Well, I'm not the sort who likes to jump to conclusions, Whitson, but I can assure you that neither of these bandages were the murder weapons.
Wait, what's she coming again? Shipping company. It's on this side. is it? Ah. There you go. Brian O'Neill. Barry O'Neill. Barry O'Neill. Ross Okay. Let's go to the next one.
Beg your pardon, but could I have a word with you, Sir Jasper?
Ah, Dr. Watson, of course. Are you investigating the death of Samuel Sneed? I just finished with him.
No, we're interested in James Windibank.
Ah, the mummy's latest victim, of course. Who hired Holmes for this one? King Tut?
Oh, that's a jolly good one. Actually, we don't have a client on this one.
Just for fun, eh? Oh. Well, about the only thing I can tell you is that mummy has very powerful hands.
What do you mean?
The trachea was crushed along with one of the vertebrae of the neck. Death was instantaneous. Snap.
But the papers reports say that there were mummy wrappings found round the neck.
Just window dressing. Without question, it was bare hands. The bruises and the way that the vertebrae was crushed leave no doubt about that.
Thank you very much for your time, Sir Jasper. We're very much appreciative.
Not at all, Watson. You will let me know when you've convicted the mummy.
Beg your pardon?
So I can perform an autopsy on him. Would be most fascinating, don't you think?
Creepy. I'm trying this one.
There was a couple of blokes in here just a fortnight ago what mentioned the Eastern Empress. Never seen 'em before, haven't seen 'em since. One was a swarthy fellow, Arab unless I miss my guess. The other was an old English gent. I overheard him say something about a bird and later caught the name of the ship. I hope that helps you. Care for a drink, huh?
So you've been reading my articles in the Times. I'm honored. What do you think of them?
Quite interesting. You've clearly been following the murders quite closely. Who do you suspect?
I believe it is the work of the ancient Egyptian god Pumatef and his goddess Neith.
Be serious.
I couldn't be more serious. You see, Mr. Holmes, although I am a journalist, I was actually trained as an Egyptologist. I know all about these mysteries. That's why my articles carry the force of truth.
And what is the truth, Mr. Travis?
The truth is that the Egyptians discovered the secret of life. What we call science is mere child's play compared to the knowledge they had. Look at this. Do you know what this is?
He did it.
It appears to be a mummified animal of some sort, a monkey perhaps.
Precisely.
Jeez.
Quite a conversation piece.
I've been using it in some very important experiments which, if successful, will unlock the secret to bringing back the souls of the dead. I've been working on it, Mr. Holmes, using these tanner leaves. Watch.
Okay.
Uma lotus. Licantina. Burura.
It appears that the soul of this particular monkey has no intention of making a reappearance.
It's only a matter of time, I know it is. After all, these secrets have been buried for thousands of years. These things don't happen overnight. But it will happen someday. This is my mission.
I believe I'll leave you to your work, Mr. Travis.
Don't go yet. Let me show you more.
Thank you.
Monkey.
Some other time, perhaps.
Whoa. There's a... There was a monkey horn on it. I was going to look this one up.
What did you learn, Watson?
Not a thing, Holmes.
You learned nothing?
Don't get testy, Holmes. There wasn't anyone about.
My humble apologies, Watson.
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about the death of old... whatever his name was.
Andrew Weatherby.
Fact is, I only saw the gentleman once, just as we were boarding. And I'll tell you, I resented the first officer's questioning us on the matter, and I resent yours.
The whole voyage was a disaster from beginning to end. Our accommodations were positively abysmal. They wouldn't even let us bring Dickie into our cabin.
Dickie? Her high-strung, distasteful little mutt.
How can you say that, Merrill? You know Dickie is a blue-blooded Yorkshire Terrier.
Dog hair, monkey hair.
Mumsy will be with you in just a moment, Dickiekins. He's a bit under the weather, you know. That's why we were only able to stay in Egypt for 2 weeks. Dickie was so disappointed. He so wanted to see the Sphinx.
Mr. Holmes is not interested in your incessant whining, Louise.
Oh, now I whine, do I? There was a time you thought I had a lovely speaking voice. It's true, Mr. Holmes. He once adored me.
No doubt.
Oh, for the love of God, Louise, spare us your blubbering.
To the lab. So we got anything else.
Pettigrew wrote this book over 50 years.
Nope. Same thing, same thing.
If this is an inconvenient time, perhaps I could come back, Mr. Urubaru.
I wouldn't hear of it. Just a bit of a hangover. I've weathered plenty worse than this.
I'm investigating the death of Andrew Weatherby. You were on the ship with him out of Cairo. Did you happen to make his acquaintance?
Weatherby, a most tedious fellow.
So tedious, one might want to do him in.
Don't be preposterous. In my condition, I couldn't have done anything of the sort.
What condition was that?
And I thought you were a great detective. The first night out, a few of us threw a bit of a bash that went on until we docked in London.
Did Mrs. Weatherby attend this particular bash?
She was the guest of honor, you might say.
Oh. Oh. Mrs. Weatherby.
It appears that they've just left. There are fresh footsteps retreating from the front door.
But look, Holmes, there are also some coming towards the door.
Terribly observant, Watson. However, the prints you are looking at belong to us.
That's not. I will send you.
I'm very sorry to intrude on you in your moment of grief.
Oh, that's quite all right. You know, Andrew and I hadn't been married very long.
Long enough to know if he had any enemies?
Oh, Andrew was so unassuming. Everyone liked him.
Including Mr. Uruburu?
I really loved my husband.
I'm sure you did. Oh, English toffee. My favorite.
Would you like one?
Please.
Sorry, you'll have to open this yourself. I've never been any good with these things.
Can't be her. Wait. Interesting. Sorry, I just like watching the numbers go up. Who else is on the boat? I haven't checked. Anthony, Andrew. Two more names. Okay. Let's keep going down.
Well, Holmes, I checked in with Mr. Al-Sad's manservant
And you discovered that Mr. Al-Sad was not at home.
But however did you know that?
Elementary, my dear Watson. I noticed some crumpet crumbs from the corner bakery stuck to your lapel. You haven't been gone long enough to stop for tea and interview anyone at length.
Most observant, sir.
Caught. Okay, that's okay. Ah.
Hello? Is anyone there? Mr. Harmon, are you at home?
Apparently so, Watson. Look.
Oh, what ghastly business. Everyone will assume the mummy has struck again.
Hardly a plausible assumption. This poor fellow has a knife in his back and not a scrap of sheeting about his neck.
How very observant, Holmes.
Ring up Scotland Yard. This case is simple enough for them to solve.
You've solved it already?
Elementary, my dear Watson. Obviously, it was the butler.
Butler? What butler?
Exactly my point. A man as wealthy as Akram Fahmy would always have a manservant about him. After the foul deed, this one obviously beat a hasty retreat.
Windibank's body was found in the mummy's case.
Inside it?
Precisely. One of the guards, Henry Witherspoon, discovered it when making his rounds. He noticed that the lid was askew and a hand was sticking out of it. By the look on his face when he came to summons me, he must have thought that the mummy was attempting to leave its resting place. Some of the guards have been a bit on edge, you know, since the stories about Dr. Turnbull's death.
What happened when you arrived at the scene?
Witherspoon assisted me in removing the lid, and there was the body of James Windibank. Around his neck was a bandage of linen.
And the mummy was missing?
No, it was in there too. Underneath poor Windibank, completely undisturbed, not a length of its sheeting unraveled.
Who had access to the exhibit room?
Well, the room was officially closed yesterday while we set up the exhibit, but the museum was open and we took no extraordinary precautions to keep people out.
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted to kill Windibank?
None at all. I actually didn't know him very well. He did work for the museum, you see. He was with the London University. The university and the museum were joint sponsors of the Ketterbeck expedition.
Mr. Johnson, can you think of anything whatsoever that might shed some light on this affair?
No, I'm very sorry. I can't think of a thing. I only hope that all this publicity doesn't keep people away from the exhibit.
I'll stop it here for now. And we'll continue part 2. Thank you for joining me. If you're able to, check my Patreon. I will come again when I'm able to, probably tomorrow. If not, I'll be joining other people for next stream. I'll announce a video for that or whatever. Thank you. See you later.